Welcome back to FPL Spad, your best place to find FPL content for the brand new season for 24-25. It's been a long time since I last made a video or done a stream. It's been about 3 months. I haven't done many videos in that time, been busy doing my stuff, but welcome back to FPL Spad, where you're going to find the best news for the new Fantasy League this year. Today, I'm going to show you a few drafts that I made for the coming game week. Game week 1, the deadline is tomorrow. Not much time left. I've done as much research as I can. Now it's literally down to my personal preference. So now let's get on to the first draft. My first draft is this, with Salah and Haaland in the same team. I know people have been waiting for this. Most people want both, but might not have both. It's about 50-50. But in this team, so exactly we have to put, if we put Salah and Haaland, you have to make some sacrifices in other places in your team. But there are some essential players that I think that are needed in every single team, which is Isak, Eze, and Barco. Barco, because he's 4 million and he should be starting most games. So perfect player to have on the bench. And that's it. In my opinion, they're probably the only two essential players that you need to have in your team is Eze and Isak. Because I think among the experts, they're highly owned. And Cuckoo, a lot of people are hyping him right now from his record from before he came to the Premier League. Thing with him is we don't know about his injury record or how he's going to play in this new team. And with that amount of signings Chelsea are making, could be not one of the best. But at the moment, because he's so highly owned by players, I'll put him into my team. Then you've got Smith Rowe, who I like, who probably will flourish at Fulham. Pretty hard game for the first game. Got some good fixtures after that. Because Leicester at home, Ipswich away, West Ham at home, Newcastle at home, Forest away. These are decent fixtures for Fulham. And I just think he will be able to get some good points. And he's so highly owned. I think he's like 15% in the ownership department for him. Let's just quickly have a look. Yeah. 14.4. So it's pretty highly owned for a player that is one of the cheapest midfielders available. Burton Diaz. Now, he was at Sheffield United last season for half the season. He came in January on loan to them. And then went back to his parent club. And then now has sold to Southampton. He got 6 goals last season in his brief stint in the Premier League. It's not bad. But I think this team might do better. And he could be a very big differential, like huge. Especially at 0.8. I don't think many people will be gambling on him to bring him in. But I think if you're going to be having to play Salah and Haaland in your team, you do need to find another 5.5 midfielder to have in your team. Or I can sacrifice, because really, like, every single player in this team is going to be starting besides Turner, in my opinion. João Pedro will be starting. So you could even play a bench boost in the first game week. Like, the teams I've made so far, they all have like a full squad where every single player is looking to get minutes. Because there's a chance I could be playing my bench boost early on. Because I don't think there'll be many double game weeks this season. Maybe just one. And that'll be used for the free hit. So personally, I don't think maybe using the bench boost early on could be a good way to go about it. Henderson is probably not that highly owned as a goalkeeper, but among the expert he is. So I think for 4.5, a very cheap goalkeeper, he can put the numbers up. Last season he did. He put up how many points in the end? What is it? 48, but he's definitely going to be starting this season. So, yeah. Thank you, bro. It's been a while. Like, another reason why I haven't done any videos or anything is because there's so many FPL content creators out there creating these videos, and they all more or less are the same. Like, they all are just doing the same content. Team without Salah, team without Haaland, team with both. And that's how it goes. As you can see, probably in nearly all my drafts, I've got Trent because I am a Liverpool fan, a bit biased, and I just think he's going to have a big season this year, personally. That's what I believe. Guardiola is probably a player you could sacrifice to get a lower one in Pedro. But that is our team for Haaland and Salah. Now let's move on to a team without Haaland in general. Because you got a bit more extra cash, I've put on in the strike position Solanke and Watkins instead of Haaland. Watkins, not 100% sure if he's going to be starting in the first game week, so he could be easily changed to another striker because I'm not that confident that he'll be he's going to get many minutes in the first game. He's not got much games in preseason, like minutes in preseason either. So yeah, this allows me to bring Saka into this team, which I think is, after Salah, is probably the second most premium player that you need to have in your team. And as I said before, Eze has to be in your team. And then I've kept the Burton Diaz and Smith Rowe. But it's really like taking Haaland out does not improve my team that much in general. I think it just comes down to personal choice of what you think is going to happen in the coming season. Like, it is very hard to decide. Very, very hard. Well, there's some news around him and City. I didn't hear about this. Let's see. Oh. Unless I see it from thingy Fabs, like, I'm not gonna go into it. But let me just have a quick look at the. It's just I just don't see him as a. Oh man. The thing is, even if he moves to City, then it just comes down to minutes, really. If he's gonna get Pep Roulette is another thing, which I hate. Pep Roulette literally pisses me off sometimes. Pep Roulette. Okay, so the news hasn't really changed the odds really much. Like, before that news, Tottenham were favourites to sign him at the odds of like 1.9, I think it was, and now it's like 2.5 for both of Man City and Tottenham. So I want to really look into that news that much. Eze, in my opinion, is a constant professional who would play the game how he wants to and play to his best of his abilities and put a performance in, because it just benefits him. The better he performs, the more the other teams want to have him. So yeah, I think for now you keep Eze. Where it's not like Crystal Palace will be like, oh yeah, there's some news on him, so we're not going to play him. They need to play him. They can't afford to be dropping points for no reason at the start of the season. So they will be playing him. Yeah. So the more interesting one for me is the actual one without Salah team I've made, because my preferred formation is 3-5-2. I prefer to have midfielders in my team as they get more points for their goals. They get a chance of clean sheet as well, 1 point. So that I'll and they create the most chances, which helps in the bonus points as well. But so a team without Salah, we replace Salah with Jota, who right now at the moment will be starting the first 2-3 games at least, because Nunes came back to training late preseason after his Copa America third place playoff. So he went more or less as far as the England players did during the summer break. So Jota will be starting those games, and from what I've seen in preseason, he looks on it. Only thing that can mess him up is injuries. As always, I keep Issa as a good in this team because I thought Mars upgrade in Cuckoo. Because same thing we can do it like I don't know how many minutes Gordon's had at the moment. Still not 100% sure on him yet. But Smith Rowe probably will be playing unless he picks up any injuries like during the season. Saka, as always, should be getting better every season. I've downgraded Guardiola to Pedro Porro. Brought in Raya as the first keeper in this as well. So by taking Salah out, it does improve my team quite a bit in different aspects. In that space. I made another team just after that because without having a more cheaper defense, but still having Trent in my team. So putting in Konza in instead of Guardiola, keeping Henderson in goal with Turner, and I'm still one minus 2 million short on this, so I still got to sort this team out really. Because I like in this one, okay, so if I'm going out for a cheap ass defense, there's no point having an extra midfielder or striker when you're not gonna be playing him. So this still needs surgery in my opinion, this team. But this is like a team with Salah and Haaland. So that's the thing, having Salah and Haaland in your team, and then you want Saka because like I don't want to have a team without an Arsenal player in my team. They're gonna be fighting for the league, you know. And I didn't want have to have Oscar Bob in my team, but he picked up the fractured leg the other day, and he's out for a few months now. So that's a big loss for people that were gonna have Oscar Bob in the team, because I thought that was another great path into the Man City attacking lineup with guaranteed minutes in the first 3 games. Because Foden and De Bruyne are not fully back. I think their minutes will be managed. But yeah, so these are the few drafts I made. Captaincy options for the coming this game week is 3 options in my opinion: Salah, Haaland, and Isak. Ipswich is a great game. It's an away game, first game of the season. Ipswich first time back in the Premier League in over 30 years. Not 30 years, but 20 years. So they're going to want to be putting on a show. They might put some resistance up, and Salah might not get what he wants. But of course, Salah does take penalties as well, which is in his favour. And then you have Isak, who also has got a home game against Southampton. A great game in my opinion. First game of the season. But at home, St. James's Park will be crazy, loud as always. The support there is immense as always. So yeah. So one thing you probably noticed in all my drafts is like Isak, Eze, and Trent are more or less guarantees to play. But let's just have a quick look at other options that you could have instead of the players that I've chosen. Because in the end, it's down to my personal preference that I've done this. But so let's say if you've got Henderson, there's not many other 4.5 million goalkeepers to go. We could go for Flecken, for Brentford, but at the moment, Brentford have still got a lot of injuries in their back line. The defense ain't fully back, so just not confident with the Brentford defense at all at the moment till they get the players back. So I'll probably would be avoiding Flecken. And say if he gets dropped for the new keeper they've signed with 4 million, like could be a bargain to have on your bench instead of Turner. He's got a lower ownership as well because Turner's pretty high. So probably in the end, I probably will be going for the Brentford backup keeper who's got a lower ownership. So less likely for his price to be dropping. Because we don't want to be losing those extra 0.1 millions early on in the seasons. Especially when we can avoid it by looking at the stats and looking at the ownership. So when you're picking a player, be careful. Especially the keepers. Keeper prices don't change that quick because most times people do not want to like waste one of their free transfers or take a minus hit on a keeper. So you can get away with it, But yeah, I wouldn't. I'll just probably take the keeper with the less ownership. Another one could be Sanchez for Chelsea, but with his keeper's new keeper's F sign, I just want to risk it. And how they played in preseason, how poor the defense was, really, I don't think having a Chelsea keeper is beneficial. I think Henderson is the best 4.5 midfield defense keeper you can go for. I think he's probably second best after Raya. Pickford, he does okay, but I prefer Henderson this season. If Gay, it all depends on how if like Gay stays at Crystal Palace as well. Because if Gay does not stay at Crystal Palace, then it's not really like their defense will be a bit weaker, you know. Anyone else? Not really. Okay. So let's just go to the defense now, because at the start people thought there was a lot of 4.5 million defenders that you could go for, but in my opinion, there's not that many good ones. Like Robertson, I rate him highly. He's a young kid, had an alright season last season, made 104 points, 87 starts. It's not bad, 6 assists for his second season in the Prem. So third season hopefully gets better. If he goes by anything of his like triple his stats from the last one, maybe he could, get some more assists. But he's still a kid, he's still improving. And I think for 4.5 million, with Fulham, the amount of money they've spent, like in different departments, I think they'll be giving teams a decent game. And I think they can test United. United are not like fully ready anyway. They've just signed Elite, so you probably will see Maguire and maybe Johnny Evans starting in the next game for United. So maybe Robertson could keep a clean sheet against them. You don't know. They don't have Hoyland either at the moment, so they will be probably playing with a false 9 in Bruno Fernandes, who could be a shout, but who's just got a new contract as well. Yeah. Then you got Anderson from Crystal Palace. Like good season last year. A lot of people bring him in at one stage. His price was going up and down in the end. But I will have Gay instead of Anderson, and Muniz really, I don't think many people picked him here. No, they haven't. So that's a differential if you want to go for Muniz. Where is he? Yeah, there. 5 million. So only 4.5% picked. That's a great differential for 5 million, really. If you're not going to go for the ultra premium defenders. He was good towards the end of the last season. Like, was putting up decent numbers. I think a few people had them in the teams. Burn. With Gay coming, he could be moved to left back. Then he'll be fighting with other players for the position. So it's a bit of a risk in my opinion. Konza, 4.5 million. That can play left back sometimes, but most times will be playing in the centre back position. What do you call it? What's his name? Emery does have a tendency sometimes to rotate players. And with Champions League, they're going to be in the season, he could get rotated a little bit. Like, I think I've had him on one of my teams, or I don't know. Yeah, he's on one of my teams. But it comes out in the end to preference. Malenko, a lot of people have been going for Malenko in the expert FPL content creators. It was pretty high ownership. People, they expect him to do good this season. I don't see where. Oh, yeah, in 28 starts, decent amount of points, 28 starts, really. But yeah. Saliba is highly owned for 6 million. I wouldn't personally go for Saliba for 6 million when you got Guardiola there for 6 million, who's got a better chance of getting you attacking returns in the end of the day. Yeah, he had some injuries last season, but Gabriel will be playing every single game. That's one thing. But are they going to be as defensively as solid as last season? Because they were pretty solid last season in defense. They've kept a lot of clean sheets. Let's see, where the clean sheet points? 18 clean sheets. Like, more or less half the games they kept a clean sheet. So will they be able to replicate that again this season? I don't see him improving on that really, because I see a lot of teams lower down the leagues, not even lower down the leagues, like in the middle of the table, have improved their teams. Like West Ham this year have improved their team. Like something I think people are maybe overlooking West Ham players a bit. Not the defensive side of it, because we don't know how like this team will do. We talk about midfield in a bit. Let's just stick to the defense for right now. Trent, like I've got him on my team. A lot of experts have been putting Trent into their teams because they consider 7 million to be cheaper compared to his previous year prices. I think it was 8.5 million last year, 7 million this year. You know, so it's not essential, but I think more of the loop bias will be kicking in for a lot of people as experts. But yeah, Pedro Porro, who I just skipped over by mistake, he will have Solanke to be providing for more assists. Really, he had a good part of the season last year. I can't see his whole season, but he did have a good patch, and then there was a bad patch. You alright, bro? So yeah, Harwood could be a good backup at 4 million, same as FaZe and Barco, all 4 million players. And I think all three are starting really for their teams. So at the moment. So they're not bad shouts. If you want to go for super ultra defense, cheap defense, chuck those three in, chuck another 2 to 4 millions in, then you have some extra money left for your midfield and your attack. But that's if you want to go completely cheap on your defense. I don't recommend that. I think I done it a few years ago where I did that. It's no way to go to it in the end. You end up going for good defense some part of the season. You know, Randovan at 4.5. I don't see him getting any attacking returns. Got 3 goals last season, probably from corners. But nah. Gay 4.5 million could be a good shout, but we don't know if he's going to be starting the first game of the season for Crystal Palace, and he is going to had 3 bids turned down by Crystal Palace for him from Newcastle. I think the latest one was 65 million. Crystal Palace wanted that for more money. I don't doubt them that they should. When you see players at his age or his quality going less than for what Maguire went for or Van Dijk went for, can't remember, there's one other player. So I don't see why I don't like Crystal Palace to hold out for more money, because they have, that's it, and he's on a good long-term contract. So it could affect his performance, but we don't know at the moment. So yeah. Kwanzaa. Now, if I didn't have Trent in my team, now Kwanzaa will be straight into my team. At 4.5 million, at the moment he's preferred by Arnie Slot. So he will be playing the first few games, because Konate came back late from for preseason. Kwanzaa has been playing most of the friendlies for Liverpool. The last friendly against Seville he played, and Konate played the game behind closed door afterwards. There's still a lot to learn, in my opinion. Still a long way to develop. But yeah, if you want to go for a cheap defense and you have extra slot for Liverpool player, 4.5 million for Kwanzaa is a bargain. An easy way to get clean sheet points from Liverpool player. But yeah, okay. Anyone else? Nah. All right, let's move on to midfield. So now Palmer, the highest scoring FPL player last season, started at 5 million. I don't remember exactly what he ended on. What did he end on? He ended on 6.3. So 1.3 million jump. Not that big of a jump, but still big. And given a 5.5 million price rise. I think Kwanzaa is likely to start. And I think Hall is as well. Yeah. for the first few games, I think Kwanzaa is more likely to start than Konate for the first game of the season. Personal opinion. Um, he's just been had more time to adapt to Arnie Slot's new system. So, yeah, like he's more composed. He doesn't panic much, whereas Konate does panic, and I don't think Arnie Slot would want that. But Kwanzaa does have the bad pass in him, but that's because he's so young. He's still only 20 years old, I think. So he's still improve, and hopefully he just take these little mistakes out and they don't really cost him during the game. But yeah, I think Kwanzaa is definitely going to be starting compared to Hall. Hall, about say 75%. So Eze, like I said earlier, he's essential. You told me about Man City looking into it, but unless he has a release clause, if it's activated, then it's activated, and really that's the reason why I don't believe it, because if there's a release clause, they know about the release clause, they would approach the player first, really, and they would approach the player first. Yep, we want you. Okay, cool. We're gonna make the bid. It'll be done and dusted. When there's a release clause, it more or less goes really, really quickly. So, yeah. Hopefully, we get some more news tomorrow about it, because this news only reported recently. But the odds don't really give me that much confidence of him leaving. So, yeah. Salah, most highest owned midfielder. No surprise there. Year on year, over 200 points. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years of doing consistent 200 points. Not many players can say they've done that in the Premier League, FPL. Right. At this point, he didn't get more points last season, really. Played less games. You could say he played 10 less games. So I think he looks very good in preseason. I think his role might be a bit more different in the new role for Arnie Slot that I've seen him play so far. More like the provider, and let's see what Slot is about. We don't really know how much he's gonna be okay, 60 minutes, you're off the pitch, you're not doing it. I want to bring someone else on. We don't know if he's capable of doing that yet. I just don't think Palmer is going to be essential, because I don't think I watched Chelsea preseason. The system that they want to play, it's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna suit Palmer really. Yeah, signed so many new players. I just don't think this new system is going to suit him or suit Chelsea in general. They don't have that back line, in my opinion, to be playing the football that they want to play. Especially when they get rid of players like Gallagher, who, in my opinion, has been disrespected by Chelsea very badly. Then you have what's his guy name? Chalobah, disrespected again, training with the kids. Probably was the best centre back last season after Thiago. Thiago's left the club, and they've left with Bashidil, and there's other players that they've got, and which I just don't think they're good enough, really, personally. Reece James already out again. Just Chilwell back. Gusto probably coming back late from. Actually, I think Gusto's back. Then you got Cucurella. It's just teams all over the place, really, man. That's what I'm saying with Chelsea. That's why I'm not really happy about having Nkuku in my team, because I know a lot of people have put them in the pro expert FPL players. It's not that high. In the overall base, 17.1 is not really that high. It's pretty average, in my opinion, because I feel that's more or less less than Bruno Fernandes. But the Bruno Fernandes hype is, of course, the United fans. which has a huge fan base. We all know this. Foden, surprised how highly he's put in. Don't think he's gonna might even play the first game. Gordon, I can understand. People want him. He looked amazing, and he's one of the type of players that can just doesn't really need minutes preference. Just come on, play. Saka, he just probably improve the season again. Probably get 200 points again. So you got Odegaard, Garnacho. Don't know about how much rotation there'll be between him, Anthony, and Diallo. So there's no reason why we can't have him. Smith Rowe, even Smith Rowe is not like a guarantee with the amount of experts have put him in. I think it's like 90% of people, like experts have put him into their teams. So if you flop, everyone flops. Like besides the general population players playing. Now Diego Jota, like, you know what I think about him. Like if he's playing, he's gonna score goals, assist, make a mark on the game. That's what he does. He's always done that, and he's done it without no fuss, no fuss. He's just the type of player I love. He's just out there to perform, to make sure the team wins. So he's got that unselfishness. Like if he was on penalties, that's all I wasn't. Jota will be in this team guaranteed all day long. Like wouldn't even be a debate. You know. How much is Mitchell? Five. Malenko. Yeah, go for Malenko, bro. Son, another player people have been not looking at properly, but might still be on pens unless Solanke takes it off him. We don't know yet because we haven't seen them both play together yet at all. Kudos had a good end to the season last year, I think. Not best. Luis Diaz now. This is a player that got quite a bit of stuff last year, but I think he could do better. Really, should be putting better numbers up. Got 2 goals in pre-season. The first game back against Seville, one very good goal. Other was a tap in, but you got to be there to put it in. Like another differential is Rodgers, really, for Villa. I think he scored 3 goals in the pre-season so far. Watkins not fully fit, maybe, or put any minutes underneath. Rodgers might be playing the games as well alongside him. We don't know what formation really Villa will be playing, but with what's his name? Douglas Luiz left for Juve. Job plus, yeah, job after years, yeah. This is like one of my drafts. I've just made 3-4 different drafts. Like that's a team with Haaland in the team and Salah in the team. Then this is another team with just Salah in the team. This one's just Haaland in the team, no Salah, and then another one again with Haaland and Salah, but a bit more cheaper defense to get in Saka and Bastoni. So this team out is still minus 2 million on this. It's just like a rough draft I've been putting up. Like I'll probably after this stream probably ends, probably make my final decision then. You know. I understand what you're saying. Like, yeah, it's a lot of away games and home games, so it's like they're hard games. But you make your team not just for the first game week, you make it for the second one and the third one, because after this first game week, you have 1 free transfer, and most people are not going to be wanting to use those free transfers up, especially now that we have a new rule where you can keep 5 free transfers up to 5 free transfers. So I see a lot of people using this strategy where they make a team for the first 5 games. That's it. For those 5 games, they make a team and they say to themselves that they're not going to make any transfers. This is it. This is my team, and I'm going to go with it. Unless something horrendous happens where you get injured and stuff, then yeah, I can understand it. Because what they will plan to do is use a wild card in game week 6, use the wild card, and then they'll have 5 free transfers after that to use after the wild card if they need to. So that's a strategy people are going with as well. So that's why I'm thinking about using a bench boost in the first week. So if I use my bench boost in the first week with my 5 free transfers, take my time, build them up, rotation because they're all playing, and then play my wild card, have just the first 11, don't need no rotation players, take them out, and just carry the game on as normal. And you've got 5, maybe 4, 5 free transfers. That's one way to go. It's a choice that I have to really think about if I want to do that route. I think someone last year in my FPL league, the one I played, my paid one, did that. Did the bench boost in the first week and was first straight away in the main league. Let me see where he finished in the end. Let me see if we can even go back that far back. I went too far back. Sorry guys, just quick files, I want to confirm this. Did he start on his last year? It was late last year. I can't remember, man. Fuck it. Ain't no time. Alright. So, let me quickly start a poll. Captains, because oh man, I've been talking away. Did I realise bloody 40 minutes gone past? Maybe I should have started my poll from the start and left it running. But yeah. So, as you can see, I was going to the midfield anyways, quickly checking in players. So, Rashford, if you think for 7 million, United fans could go for him. And Mbemo, who I'm a great fan of, don't get me wrong, he was cheaper last year actually. Like, I don't know how you can increase his price. Like, pretty sure they increased his price. So they increased his price. He only played 22 games last season. You know? and then increase his price. So I don't see how they could do that. Really, it makes no sense. But yeah, some of my differentials like Bob, like Oscar Bob, I really want Oscar Bob in my team. I thought he's gonna do some damage. Really, um, yeah. There's one player that I really wanted in my team from the Strike Force, which I'll show you, who got injured. But yeah, so ownership. I think the first four are the main strikers people are going for. Watkins is like kind of a gamble. I think Isak isn't an essential. It's in probably nearly every expert FPL team out there. Havertz, he had a good season last year. I think he got 108 points, 13 goals, 10 assists, not shy numbers. But with Jesus back as well, with Jesus playing, he'll be playing more in the midfield. So, and not going to be on penalties either. Surprising how many people have got Tony in their team, especially what's surrounding his future at the moment. Mateta, I don't think Mateta is even back from in pre-season yet because he was at the Olympics. So that's another player there. Muniz for Fulham, 6 million. Had a good end to the season last year. Could be a good differential to bring in. Not a big differential, but a good differential. I don't think many people are going for Darwin, only probably Liverpool fans. If a fan like me staying away from Darwin Núñez, there's a reason why you shouldn't have Darwin Núñez in your team at all. Not at this point. Gakpo, I can understand why Gakpo is people's teams playing out on the left, but it's a choice between him and Diaz, and I think he might prefer Diaz on the left, maybe Gakpo as a ST, but we saw Gakpo what he did for Netherlands on the left. It's his most natural position to him. Probably plays best in that position, but rotation risk between him and Diaz. So now Forkro for West Ham, who they've signed, this was coming off the bench for Germany in the Euros, getting goals. Could be a player that is going to be vital. He seems like a Moyes type of player. Corners, get the ball into a box around him, he can whack it in. Not the type of player that the current managers they got right now. We want to play attractive football. So don't really understand that signing. We saw 6 million. We saw cheaper. Jackson 7.5, I think was cheaper last year. Tired. Alright, yeah. So as I was saying earlier, this is a player that I was thinking about to put into my team straight away as a big differential, which was gonna be the new striker that Brentford signed in Thiago. I saw him in preseason. He looked good. Another reason why Brentford are in no hurry to sell Tony, because this guy was supposed to be the Tony replacement. Got injured in preseason, and he's now not going to be back till the end of the year. So not till next year, 2025. So he would have been a player to have in my team straight away, but I probably was thinking about him. But it's like another risky, going that way. But yeah. But most template teams right now, what I've seen out there. So let's say if I go for all players, team selected by. So I think Eze is probably the only essential midfielder that you need to have in your team. And then there's a debate around Salah and Haaland. Thing is, Haaland is going to be fit, ready to go. Had a summer off, relaxing, managing injuries, recovering, looking good in preseason, more agile. I just can't see not having Haaland out of my team. And then if I have him on my team and struggling to bring him back into my team, it's gonna be a challenge by doing extra -4 hits. And I just don't want to be doing that really. So it's like you could do it for the first game, maybe Chelsea away, but I just don't have any faith in Chelsea right now, really. Like I won't be surprised if the scoreline is 4-1 Man City, 5-1 Man City, 5-2 Man City, because the way Chelsea play at the moment. Yeah, so Haaland has to be a must. Can't take him out. The only one debating now is Salah, personally, in my opinion. For most people, the thing is, you can go for another cheaper route if you want it from a Liverpool team, which is going to be Jota. The only thing about Jota is that at some point he will be rotated with either Nunez or Gakpo, even Elliott. So he's not the best of players to have in your team. But whereas in Salah, damn week, he is going to be playing every game. Unless we see something brave from Arne Slot. I can't tell you if he's going to do that or if he's not, because I don't know him that well yet. You don't learn much about the manager in preseason. You learn the tactics and what he's going to do. But because if they're playing bad in a preseason game, you're not going to take them off because they're playing bad in a preseason game. Preseason is all about making your fitness up. So, and he was running around doing his stuff, missed a cut, fumbled a few chances, but he looked like his old self, fit self, moving freely, outrunning other players, other defenders, smoked Shevchenko like always when we played Arsenal. Last playing against United, was getting a goal against Seville, but was playing on the right, receiving the ball, still had the touch, still had the capability of taking players on. So, we'll find out from Slot himself what he does with him. So for now, it really comes down to, I remember last year was the first year where I didn't start with Salah in my team. And I regretted it. And I brought him in. And I'm in the same situation now where I'm debating about Salah, about having him in my team or not. And it is hard because of the price increase on Haaland. You have less money to spend other places, which is making it a lot harder. And especially when your differential picks that you had out are suddenly getting injured before Gameweek 1. Does not help at all in making your team. So, I've got the essentials, but there's too many risks. Like João Pedro, in my opinion, is a risk. Smith Rowe is a risk because we don't have a big sample data. Really, a lot of people are bringing Smith Rowe into their teams based on 2-3 games in preseason, and he getting 2 goals. That's what people have based his sample data on to bring him in for this game, this season, which is crazy if you think about it. The only reason people are doing it is because he's only 5.5 million, played for Arsenal, didn't get into the Arsenal team at hardly anything. But last season, how many games did he play? Started 3 games. He came off the bench probably a few times more because obviously 3 games does not add up to 343 points. Minutes, sorry. So he must come off for some games. Let's see. Still not showing it, but yeah. So personally, this is what you're basing on, really. But yeah, it's about his fitness, really. Smith Rowe, and So now let's look out for, because anything can happen in the first game week. These players can get injured, anything can happen, especially with Smith Rowe. So if I'm gonna go with Smith Rowe and he picks up an injury in the next game, even off scoring points in that game, which other 5.5 million player I can bring in as a straight replacement, because really truthfully, the player that I really want in my team is Carvalho from Brentford. 5 million. The only reason he's not in my team because I don't know if he's going to be starting. He's a very young talent from Liverpool. So if he starts getting game time and he starts, Carvalho could be a very big differential. But he hasn't played any preseason games for Brentford. He did for Liverpool, scored 2 goals in back-to-back games, and got his move to Brentford. It was a good deal for both. I was happy and sad at the same time, because I was happy that Brentford got him, and sad that he left Liverpool. Don't really ever get a chance to feel that way, but it was what it was. Like, happy and sad at the same time. It was a weird feeling, but I think it was best for both parties in the end of the day. We got a good amount of money for him, and we got a sell-on clause, which is not bad. But yeah, if I had more information on Carvalho, I might have Carvalho instead of Bernard Diaz, because I know Carvalho has in him to score goals and able to create goals, and all depends in the end, like, of what they're gonna play. All right, so I'm coming to the end of my stream now. Just any questions you guys want to ask me about this game week, which players you think are debating over, go ahead, bros. Let's have a quick look at the AI team from Fantasy Hub. I'll need to renew my membership. I forgot to reclaim my money for last year's one, because you're supposed to reclaim your money. You have to send them an email to reclaim your money if you don't win your mini league, which I didn't do in time. So yeah. So this team has changed quite a bit since the last time I saw it. Pickford in goal, Gabriel, Trent, and Guardiola. Not happy with Gabriel, really. Not guaranteed he's going to be starting. Salah, Saka, Eze, and Jota. Now, he's gone for 2 Liverpool players. But I'm refraining myself from having 2 Liverpool players, really. Like 3 Liverpool players. Not to show my bias, really. And then he's gone for Havertz, Isak, and Muniz on the top. And with the very cheap bench, where no rotation possible, really. Actually, they will be playing. But yeah. So, like I said earlier, I think Isak and Eze are probably the most essential players to have in your team. I think most people are going with that way. Like, if Elise was still at Crystal Palace, I'll pick Elise, because I was a fan of Elise. I was pretty disappointed to see him go to Bayern Munich. I thought he could have been a good replacement for Salah. But I think he went high wages and then a big transfer fee as well, which for Liverpool, we're out of the race already. As soon as high wages come in. If Chelsea can't afford him, Chelsea cannot afford him because of high wages. Because Chelsea's pattern is to buy players on small wages and then reward them afterwards if they play good, like they did to Cole Palmer. Like Cole Palmer is now a Chelsea player to 2033. That's mad. 9 years. You can just chill out if you wanted to and earn, what is it? 45 million over the 9 years. But he won't do that. He wants to get a new contract, you know? But yeah. I don't think the points prediction will work for me because I'm not. Got it out. Nah, it's not gonna work. I'll get it done tomorrow before the deadline stream. 100%. But thank you guys for joining me today. I hope this was helpful and you enjoyed it. Thank you again for joining me. It's been a long 3 months. I know that I've been away. I don't know if you missed me or I missed you, but we're back. FPL is back. Premier League starts tomorrow with Fulham and United. My deadline stream I will do one tomorrow, hour or hour and a half, probably an hour and a half because we got so much to do still, to find another team's last minute changes and stuff. So, yeah. Thank you guys for joining me again, and see you guys next time. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you're new around it. See ya!